Hello everybody, welcome back. This is some Australian Highlander content. So this is my first game of my first round. If you haven't seen my deck, I will link it in description. Might pop up top right, I don't know, we'll see how we go. Anyway, this is my first opponent, Blade 400's deck. We have open deck lists, so let's kind of have a look through and see what we're working with here. As you can see, this is a Underworld Breach combo deck. And let's just go through the cards one by one and see how our deck matches up against them. So, mana base is fine. You can see blue, white, red, and it's just your typical Jeskai deck. Now, big point sink, the Black Lotus. I like this against me because it means that there is a lower power level among the rest of the cards. It's a lot more skewed towards your most powerful cards. You'll see in my deck I have 5 or 6 5-pointed cards, and it just means I'm more likely to draw a more powerful card. But obviously Black Lotus in the Brain Freeze Underworld Breach deck is probably where you're going to sink your points into, and you know, Lion's Eye Diamond does the exact same thing. It's not at all uncommon to see points being spent on the Black Lotus in the Brain Freeze Underworld Breach deck. Likewise, Lotus Petal does a good impersonation of Black Lotus. Some might say it's even made in the essence of the card, hence the name. Mishra's Wobble and Urus's Wobble are just repeatable card draw for cards we'll see later down the list. Source Plowshares, creature removal, that's fine. You'll see there's not a whole lot of creature removal in this deck, which, you know, again, matches up seemingly pretty well against mine. Gitaxian Probe is just a free card, Mental Misstep against, just a free counter. You've got your cantrip package of Brainstorm, Ponder, Preordain, but you've also got Mental Note, Peak, and of course Thought Scour, because, you know, you want to mill yourself. And then, of course, you've got Faithless Looting. You've got a little bit of damage here in Forked Bolt and Lightning Bolt. I assume this is just to clear a few creatures in the first game. And then, of course, Arkham's Astrolabe, because snow-covered islands mean they can tap for anything. Strong card. I think this may or may not also need a point, but that's for another discussion. You have the titular cards, Brain Freeze and Underworld Breach. If you don't know that combo, it's literally just Underworld Breach, Brain Freeze yourself, exile a few cards to make mana with Lotus or LED, Brain Freeze yourself again, continue until you have enough mana, and Storm Count to Brain Freeze your opponent out. Mana Leak, some cheap counter. Search for his counter is some cheap filtering, I guess. This seems pretty slow in this deck, honestly, but I guess it needs some late game counterspell. And Is It Charm, again, as a duo of counter, and I mean, this kind of does it all in the deck. It counters the non-creature spells, it deals with the problematic creatures, and of course it loots them if you've got nothing more to do. Sylvan's Reclamation is another part of the combo here, returning LED from the bin to gain a whole bunch of mana. You can cast LED, flash it back to get an extra mana. Now these are the things that I'm worried about. Back to basics, because I did up my basic land count from the last tournament, but you'll still see that I'm still running the 3 shocks, the 3 OG duels, and the Roger and Triumph. So I am having to be a little bit wary of this back to basics, and then also of this Blood Moon. So it just means that they have the fast mana, they have the Black Lotus, they have the Lotus Petal. It just means that where I can, I'm going to be fetching basics. Emery, again, here is it's kind of a kill on sight card. I can't really let them untap with this, with the Lotus Petal, Mishra's Wobble, Urza's Wobble, and of course the 2 Lotus effects. It's too strong. Hull Breacher is fine. I don't think it really does anything against my deck except for, I mean, Sylvan Library and Brainstorm is all I can think of. But, you know, it's a 3/2 body with flash, so I gotta be aware of it when attacking. Intuition is an interesting shooter. I guess because it's not pointed, it works, and them going into your graveyard is kind of what you want. I'm interested to see how this plays out if I can choose correct intuition piles, because I can't seem to think of any super broken piles unless you want all 3 in your bin anyway, and you like have the Underworld Breach in hand. Because I mean, fetching Breach, I'm just gonna put it in the bin, and there's very few ways, if any, to get it back from there. Narset is an incredibly strong card, and so is Dak Fade and Interferi, just your standard suite of 3-mana busted planeswalkers, honestly. And then Wheel of Fortune is a good one. Better than Time Twister in this deck because it puts everything in the bin. Again, you have to be a little bit wary because this Underworld Breach is soft. Fact of Fiction is just good card draw, and Gifts Ungiven is going to be used as the blue Entomb here. I assume this is just going to be searching for the LED Black Lotus or the Brain Freeze Black Lotus or something of that sort. Again, not searching for the full 4 cards, just to get them into the bin. And of course Echo to shuffle everything back in. Give you another shot, not pointed like Time Twister is. I am interested here with the Echo of Aeons and then the Lotus and the LED that there isn't a Karn Great Curator here, and there's no Karn package at all. I guess that they decided that there wasn't enough flex slots to consider that. But that's an interesting deck building decision. And finally onto the sideboard here, you have your, I mean, it's a reasonably standard sideboard. You've got your 4 blasts. These are played in every single blue and red deck. Disenchant against the Artifacts and Enchantment decks, Dreadhorde Arcanist to flashback your spells. And really the Dreadhorde Arcanist, the Monastery Mentor, Timely Reinforcements, and the Ethereal Forger are brought in when your main Underworld Breach Brain Freeze combo plan doesn't really work and you need to grind out that card advantage. Those are what I'm expecting to be brought in. Pyroclasm against the little weenie decks, the Wear Tear against, again, Artifact and Enchantments, and the Dovin Veto when you need to force through that Underworld Breach against a counter deck. Mentor, we talked about. Timely Reinforcements is against mono red. Force Negation again against those counter decks. Theorem Macabre against those graveyard decks. And finally Submerge is just an all-round good flexible card. Can just save you or win you the game. So the sideboard is packed with pretty standard cards. Basically trying to counteract the counter decks with all the blasts and the counter spells. A little bit here and there for the graveyard decks, for the mono red decks, and then of course they have their backup plans of creatures if the game goes long. But I think against me, these red and pyroblasts are going to come in. I don't think they bring in the blue blasts. My red spells just don't really interact with what they're trying to do. I guess I have an Izzet Charm, and it can save them some life points and save them some time against some of my creatures, but it's not that enticing, to be honest. So I will be surprised if they bring them in, even though, you know, it's a red deck, bring them in. The Disenchants, Wear and Tear, they won't come in. I'm not running. I think I'm running a Sylvan Library as my only artifact or enchantment. Yeah. Pyroclasm might come in. My creatures, I think, are a little too big. If they get scared of a Young Peasy first game, they may bring it in, but that's kind of bad. And honestly, I may bring out the Young Pyromancer if they see it game 1 and get scared of it, expecting this Pyroclasm, but we'll see how that goes. Dovin's Veto will almost certainly come in, so will Force of Negation. They are just strong against the counter deck. I expect Mentor to come in. Timely Reinforcements probably won't. Force of Negation will come in. Theorem Macabre won't, and this Ethereal Forager and Submerge may or may not come in, depending on how they're feeling, I guess. What's bad against me here? Honestly, the Underworld Breach Brain Freeze combo isn't too good against me. I have a lot of counter magic. I have the Daze, I have the Spell Pierce, the Force Spike, the Izzet Charm, the Force of Will, the Force of Negation, all main deck. So they need this Underworld Breach, and they probably need a counter spell as well, and even then it still might not go through. And once it's in the bin, I mean, how do they get it back? Is it just Echo? I think it's just Echo, which is a little bit not loose, but it's an interesting play. And they are reasonably all in on this Underworld Breach plan in game 1 because, you know, look, creatures 2, the only other creatures they have is this Hullbreacher and this Emery, and that's not going to kill me. Like, a Dak Emblem isn't going to kill me, a Teferi can't ultimate, and this Narset can't ultimate, so they have a reasonable amount of card advantage and filtering to try and get to their combo, but if I stop it, there's nothing. I mean, like Sivin's Reclamation and can get Underworld Breach, and Echo of Eons can shuffle it back in, but that's literally all they have. So if I just play a few specific counter spells, I think I'm covered. So let's go back to my deck here, and we'll have a look at my sideboard to see what I think I'm going to bring in against them. Again, against the blue deck, really, I bring in my Red Blast, my Pyroblast. Veil of Summer is coming in as well. This is just an instant win, because you can't target me with the Brain Freezes, so how are you going to win the game? The obviously Graveyard is super important, so the Soul Guide Lantern, the Scavenging Ooze is coming in. Even the Return to Nature is probably coming in, exiling that specific LED, that Brain Freeze from the graveyard, or destroying the Underworld Breach. Oof is on the side, Abrade and Pyroclasm on the side. Clothies is probably going to stay out, Sumud is probably going to stay out, and obviously Lutri stays on the board. And things to come out is some of my creature-specific removal, so my Magmatic Sinkhole is probably going to come out. You know, the Dismember is probably come out. Just having a quick scan through, probably Stifle is not exactly what I want. I know it stifles the Brain Freeze trigger, but I'm trying to stop them before that, so it might also come out. This Chain Lightning is probably a little slow. Like I said, we'll consider the Young Pyromancer. Sylvan Library is a consideration, but it gives me that late game filtering that I might need. I might have to transition into more of a control deck versus them, even though this is trying to be the aggro deck here. And it kind of depends on what I think is going to be the biggest problems in games 2 and 3. This Fire Ice might come out. We'll just have to play it by ear, really. But you know, we have a solid chunk of cards to come in. So depending on how scary I think their threats are really going to be, I can decide on how to sideboard from there. Right, so that's I guess my plan versus Blade 400. So we'll go ahead and we'll see how we go. Fingers crossed we win the coin flip, because being on the play seems relatively important, and both of these decks are trying to go pretty fast. So see when round 1. Okay, we're here in the first game against Blade 400. We're choosing Lutri as our companion, and we have lost the die roll. Oh boy, this is not the hand that I was wanting to see. One land, we can't keep this. We don't have a good enough hand. Tell our opponent good luck, have fun. Okay. This is a lot better. We'll keep this, and this is interesting. Do we bottom the Wasteland or the Island? This Vendilion Click. Is this Vendilion Click going to get there? I'm going to bottom this Wasteland. We saw their deck has a lot of basics, so it's unlikely that Wasteland is going to be useful here. Okay, Bauble, this is what their deck does. Look at my card. Crack the tone. Wait, did they look at me or did they look at themselves? They probably looked at themselves. Yeah, they looked at themselves, that makes sense. Okay, not fetching, they want it, and they draw it. No, they don't want it. Alright, they have drawn a different card, and they get a Tiger. Right, I'm going to play an island out here. Like I said, their back to basics Blood Moons are all a little scary. And also, funny enough, the Wasteland would have done something here. Look at my hand, draw a card. Alright, you got it. So they know what all these cards are. That's not ideal. They have had a reasonably good start here, while mine is a little slow. Faithless Looting, yeah, this is what their deck does. I'm gonna F6, they know my hand, they know I've got nothing. And let's pop out their graveyard here, because this is gonna get important. If they have the Lotus, and they discard the Brain Freeze, they discard the Echo, and there's the back to basics. Oh, I'm so good. They can Echo. I'm wondering if I try and remand the Echo. It's an interesting question. So back to basics gone, so they just got Blood Moon, so I will play out this Tiger, because it'll be a red source anyway. And the question is, do I play this Sprite Dragon here, and just let them echo, because my hand's pretty bad, and they know it already. I think I just land a Sprite Dragon here, and let them use their red Thought Scour, sure. Mana Leak, and the Rogan Triumph, right. I thought they would have had a Bolt, maybe, holding up the blue, but their graveyard's pretty stacked here. Let's see if they can do anything with it. Right, there's the Izzet Charm to kill the dragon, yeah, that's fine. I expected this. No third land. Here's a Stifle. Interesting. So I can click them, I can charm them, I can hold up a Stifle. I think I just play this island, and I'm not going to click them. I don't think I'm going to click them. Okay, they hit their white. There's a Teferi. It's a pain. I will click now, just because it uses my mana and that taps them out. I will target them. My hand is not great, but it's okay. They have the Brain Freeze, Foff, Misstep, and a Wheel. Interesting. So if I take the Brain Freeze, it doesn't really... If I take the Brain Freeze, I think I do take the Brain Freeze here. Take the Brain Freeze, I can Izzet Charm, and Remand. They have a mental, that's okay. I put the Brain Freeze on the bottom, yeah. I put the Brain Freeze on the bottom. Because they will need to shuffle to get it back if it's the last card. And I have a fetch to Stifle. Yeah, that's fine, you can Teferi. Target creature, that's unfortunate. Draw the Foothills. I will Vendilion click them on their upkeep. I should have played the Wooded Foothills actually, for another blue source. No, I have to Vendilion click them now, is the unfortunate thing. Fine, I will just click now. I know their hand and it's not very good, so we'll just click now. We'll see what they draw. What they drew, sorry. See what they drew. It was there's the Underworld Breach. I will take the Underworld Breach as well. So now their Breach and their their Breach and their Brain Freeze are on the bottom. So they can Foff here, they can Wheel here. I don't really care about either, because their combo pieces are on the bottom, and like we saw, they don't really have a way to win without the combo. Now the fun thing about Teferi is it allows... Oh, they're not going to go for it. Narset's fine. Narset doesn't matter. I was going to say the fun thing about this is it does allow a draw step Wheel of Fortune. Oh, that is a pain. That is a pain. Wow, okay, this is quickly getting out of hand. Force Spike does nothing. I have to loot here with this Izzet Charm, because I need something to do. I can't just sit back here. Oh. Yeah, I can't believe I just did that. I cannot believe I just did that. Well, let's get rid of this Force Spike and the Stifle. Play this Wooded Foothills and pass the turn. That's not the best play I've ever made, not gonna lie. Not the best. Wow, I feel pretty dumb about that. I could have done it. No, I couldn't have done it on their turn. Teferi is a busted magic card. The only thing we have going for us is that their combo pieces are on the bottom of their library, so they're not likely to win anytime soon. Alright, opponent's just passing turn. I'm going to fetch for my Triome. Boop. And draw a Bone Crusher. Interesting. I guess I just go for a Bone Crusher here. I will stomp the Teferi so it can't bounce it. Yeah, stomp the Teferi. And then just play a Bone Crusher. If they have Mana Leak, they may consider playing it. Just so I can't play the Giant this turn. Nope. They just want to counter the Giant. Fair play. I will just run into it. I have nothing else to do. I need to get this on the board. And it sticks. I believe they have a wheel, that's right. Fair enough. I draw none. That's okay. I had a remand that was doing nothing anyway, so let's see what they can do with a fresh grip. Basically just they drew 7. Well, they had to. Oh, they discarded their intuition. They didn't want the intuition. Alright, there's the Narset looking. I have no idea what's in their hand anymore. Oh, the LED. Okay, okay. Now we know the Breach and the Brain Freeze are on the bottom. And this is the gifts for them. Yep, there's the gifts. Oh, interesting. Of course, the Reclamation. So put the Chosen cards into your graveyard. Chosen cards into your graveyard. So I believe they just win the game here. Because I put these 2 into the graveyard. And give them Black Lotus. They have a Petal. Okay. They have Black Lotus Brain Freeze. There's the Lotus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they can... Oh, and of course the LED. So I believe that's it. I believe they have the game here. We'll show the loop here one time. See if maybe they mess it up. I doubt it. Sure. I'll took the Teferi, you got it. So the line here is to crack your Lotus, crack your LED, cast Sivin's Reclamation. First cast, copy the spell and choose new target. So the targets here are Underworld Breach and Black Lotus. Let's see them play it. I will F6 to save some time. 3, 4, Sivin's Reclamation, targeting Underworld Breach, copy, targets. Come on. Black Lotus, yeah, there it is. So Black Lotus will come in, and now they can kill me because they've found the Brainstorm. Not the Brainstorm, the Brain Freeze. So I'm just going to concede here and save some time and move on to game 2. Right, so sideboarding. What do we do for sideboarding? Well, like I said, these are coming in, the Return to Nature is probably coming in, the Scavenging Ooze is coming in. And this Magmatic Sinkhole is likely coming out. So we want these ones in. What do I want out? This Stifle is looking a little less good. Mental Misstep is probably not what I want. It's so good, but yeah, no, because I'll be bringing in their Pyroblast as well. Renaissance. So I keep the Pyromancer in. Days. All Breacher seems a little bit suspect. Borrower is reasonable because it can bounce the Underworld Breach. I think that's reasonable. Force Negation good, Click good, Dismember might be a little off. Giant's good, Dax good, Oko and Uro are both good. This Fire Ice maybe is not where I want to be. You know, maybe this... no, I probably want the Return to Nature. So I gotta cut one more. Maybe it is just this Mental Misstep. Maybe it's this Brainstorm in the face of Narset. It could be. I don't really... maybe it's not. They do have the Hull Breacher as well. Something to be worried about. Maybe it's just an Opt or a Serum Visions. Spell Pierce, Spell Snare. Spell Snare is very good. Remand, Snappy, Sylvan. It might just be a Brazen Borrower. It might not get there. It is a Flash Flyer though, and I kind of like that. And I kind of need creatures on the board here. So maybe it's just Ren and 6, honestly. It's probably Ren and 6. But I don't know what to cut. Everything's so good. It's probably a Chain Lightning. It's probably Chain Lightning, let's be honest. Alright, let's run it back like this. Let's try it like this. Right, we get to be on the play. I assume they have sided into a bit more creatures. We'll choose Lutri. Let's not forget he's there. 2 lands. Days, there is a island, and I can turn 2. Yeah, this is definitely a keep. This is a good hand against what they're doing. So catch Retriumph and ship it, and we can Days turn 1 if we need. If we really need, we can. Choosing not to fetch against the Stifle deck. Interesting. So there's a few things we can do here. I'm not worried about dying. So I think Dreadhorde Arcanist is the play. Just because Forked Bolt doesn't quite get it, whereas it would get a Scavenging Ooze, and if they kill my Dreadhorde Arcanist with, say, a Bolt, then I can Scooze, gain the life, get the counter, and go from there. Again, we do have Days Up. Another land would be nice because this Oko is gonna do a hell of a lot of work. This is our clock right here. We have our interaction and we have our clock. So let's see what we can do. There is a consideration to playing the Ooze. It hits for 2, it does not hit for 3, which is kind of nice. But we'll see what happens here. Opponents thought for a while and swords our Dreadhorde Arcanist. That's fine. Swords goes through. I've got nothing to do about that. It is a little annoying because, you know, Scooze. I was counting on it dying, but hey. So let's slam that Scooze in now. Again, I'm not really worried about them killing me. This could eat a Forked Bolt or a Lightning Bolt from that open red mana, but we'll have to see. Opponents played a Dreadhorde Arcanist of their own. Fair enough. That does need to be dealt with. Forest means Oko can deal with it. Or I could just, you know, Scavenging Ooze the Swords to Plowshares, which is probably just the best bet here, rather than Okoing a Dreadhorde Arcanist and then trying to go against that. So let's just do this now. Scavenging Ooze the Swords, and hold open Days, hold open Red Blast, go from here. Opponent is moving to combat, does not attack, and passes turn. I will just eat their land as well. For good measure, I'm still holding up the Red Blast, still holding up the Days. Okay, Snapcaster Mage is not precisely what we're after. I am a little scared of running into counter magic here with this Oko, but I still think it's worth it. Let's see if they have it. They do have the actual factual, that's fine. I again will not be attacking. This does leave it open for this Dreadhorde Arcanist to recur a cantrip of some sorts. Possibly it was better to wait for another land, but if they don't have the counter there, I just like going for it and getting the Oko on the board. Also, it's worth mentioning that they have indeed sided into their more creature-heavy post-sideboard plan with the Dreadhorde Arcanist. I'm expecting Ethereal Foragers and stuff. Scalding Tarn's a good hit. This is almost certainly fetching a blue source. Probably basic island. The question is, do I Vendilion click them? And I think the answer is yes. So we will wait for their draw step. I will just fetch right now though, because it's getting a basic island anyway. I will not be swinging in. No, I won't. I will not be swinging in. So let's go to their draw step. Unless they have something to play here, no. So let's land this Vendilion click. See what they got going on. See if this in fact eats a Mana Leak or a Red Blast. There it is. There's the Red Blast. That's fine. This Scavenging Ooze grows. I may just eat the Red Blast though, because the Dreadhorde Arcanist can, you know, kill the blue permanents I have. Opponent's flooding reasonably hard as well, it should be mentioned. You know, 6 lands is a lot. The question is, do I want to exile my Vendilion click or the Red Blast? And I think the answer is the Red Blast. No, it's probably the Vendilion click. Yeah. I know I have a Del spell in my hand, but the Scavenging Ooze being a 3/3 is kind of important. 1, 2, 3, 4. What do they got? Is this gifts, or there's the gifts? Okay, end of turn. I'm interested if they can go through a Scavenging Ooze. Do they just get burn here? Alright, opponent has thought for a very long time and decided upon a value gifts plan. So the question now is, which 2 do I give them? So put the chosen cards into your graveyard. The problem here is I can't really deal with this Monastery Mentor, so I think I give them the Teferi and the Narset because I have this Red Blast and the Snap Red Blast, and I also have the Daze here, so I think I put this Bolt and this Mentor into their bin and give them the Planeswalkers. I think that was a reasonable choice. Doing it this way also means I can eat the Monastery Mentor to get counters, which is, you know, it's not bad. The thing about this is the Lightning Bolt means I do have to 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The Lightning Bolt means that I do have to deal with this Dreadhorde Arcanist or exile the Lightning Bolt. So I think I start off by attacking, and then Lightning Bolt and Monastery Mentor are gone. So let's swing for 3. Opponent does not block, how surprising. Now the question is, what do I do about this? I can exile the Bolt, and I can Red Blast and Daze. So let's do that. Let's exile this Lightning Bolt now. Brilliant. And we can just hold up the rest. Oh, let's just get rid of this draw step stop. Don't need that anymore. Now they play a land. Teferi is going to get Red Blasted. They have the Blue Blast? Yikes. I think I have to opt here. Opt finds Wooded Foothills, which doesn't do it, so let's bottom that. Find a Remand. That's not quite what I'm after. So Teferi bounces the Skoos, and that means I can't Daze the Narset. Okay, I let this go through. And I let this go through. Yes. That is a problem, but we'll see how we go. So bounce, I will exile this Red Blast. Boop. And now they can, yeah, I guess blue blast with the Dreadhorde, but I have no red cards. And here's the Narset, perfect, alright. Down tick the Narset, what you find. Here's the Mental Misstep. I have no 1-mana cards in my hand, so that is dead. That's good for me to know about. And then in with the Dreadhorde. Not in with the Dreadhorde. There's a Pyroblast. Okay, so I can Pyroblast, Snap, Pyroblast to kill both their walkers. And I think that's just what I do. So let's Pyroblast this Narset. They Mental Misstep, that's fine, get that out of their hand. Actually, let's float a blue. No, I can't. Ah! Okay, so Mental Misstep counters that. That's unfortunate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, well, I guess we have to snap and get rid of this Teferi then. And send it back. We have this Daze, but it's kind of useless at this point. We're not ever gonna hit anything that does anything with this Daze. There's the Astrolabe, you got it. Draw a card. And that's like the power of Astrolabe. Like I know that that's not the power of Astrolabe, but Astrolabe is a very strong card. It does a whole lot of things, and that's just one of them. Just being able to essentially cycle for 1 mana late in the game is an insanely strong plan C? Yeah, plan C. Hydroblast, again, that doesn't bother me. What's here? 3 mana. I do not know what this is. I have no clue. So Vin's Reclamation, the Monastery Mentor. Interesting. So they can make a monk with the Hydroblast. But they can't Hydroblast anything. So the question is this Hooting Mandrills going to be able to hold off this Monastery Mentor? Maybe? Maybe not. We're gonna find out together. Drawing a Mental Misstep. So I can Scooze and I can Hooting Mandrills. They can flash back Sivin's Reclamation, so I kind of have to Scooze and hold up Scooze activation, which I'm not a huge fan of. But you know, it's what you gotta do. In fact, I probably am better off just exiling the Sivin's Reclamation right now, before they can do anything with it. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's probably the case. That leaves me a Mental Misstep for this Hydroblast, but it doesn't really do anything. I will not be attacking with the Snapcaster because they can eat it with either of their creatures. The problem is if they ever draw a wheel, I am in big doo-doo, because that Narset will become a problem. They have 3 cards in hand. Hydroblast is one of them, but we can Mental Misstep a Hydroblast if it ever comes to it. Opponent is going to combat and attacking, and not attacking. They are just passing the turn. Very well. I draw a Sylvan. I believe I play the Sylvan. They aren't pressuring my life total, so just play the Sylvan Library and pass. I can play a Hooting Mandrills here, but I don't think it does enough. I think I just pass the turn. And I know it's giving them more time, but I don't think I really have an option here. Hull Breacher. Hull Breacher. Do I cycle this remand? I don't think I do. I think that's fine. 3-2 flash is okay. See, are they going to attack? They don't. So, end of turn, let's exile this Blue Blast. And move to our draw step. Play the island. I think now I can play the Soothing Mandrills. Just in the whole yard. Let's see what they want to do about it. Reject human. Return to monk. So they're pausing like they have a counter and they're wondering about it. And they do go for the leak. Interesting. There's the prowess and the monk token. I just pay for it here. I just pay for it. Okay. That does tap me out of the scoos, but I just have a 4/4. Okay. Faithless Looting. They would be able to flash it back even if I had the Scoos activation up, but this Monastery Mentor might just kill me now. Couple of lands, flash it back. There it is. Oh, should be always yield. Right. So they still have that Hydroblast, which is a problem. And my hand is now a whole lot of do nothing. Black Lotus. Dak Faden. Youch. And they even hold one open for the days. Very smart. Opponent knows what they're doing. Targets me. I discard Dust Step and Remand. This is rough. This is rough. I guess I should probably also be playing a Narset in this deck. I should also probably be playing a Monastery Mentor, but I don't have the white for it. And I think green is probably better. It might not be, but I guess we'll have to see. What do we draw? Our own deck. So we can steal the Arkham's Astrolabe. Well, I mean, we play him out. There's the Hydroblast. Sure. Let's return an island and daze the Hydroblast so we actually get a deck. I forgot they had treasures. Well, I don't think we're coming back from this game. That is a lot of mental tokens, and there goes our Dak Faden. But we can keep going, we can keep fighting. They have no creatures in their bin. So I guess we just start going through and taking them off the most important spells, and I can't even swing into Narset or to Dak. So this is very much a losing position here, but we'll see how if we can come back from it. Probe is such a strong card. God, that's so strong in this position. Oh my gosh. I mean, opponent has had the draws. They have had the draws. I believe I'm pretty much dead here. One more spell off the top and I do just die. Wow, opponent really had the draws. Probe into Brainstorm, into Ponder. Wow. Opponent has had the draws. Now, I definitely also made some mistakes in this game. I think remanding the whole Breacher to get an extra card was probably where I wanted to be. I couldn't even do it because of the Narset in play. I think, yeah, just the Narset really did a number on me, to be honest. I should definitely be playing my own Narset in this deck. Maybe I'll have to update it for round 2, because it is such a strong card. In fact, I probably should just be playing Jeskai, but these green cards are pretty good though. Green cards are kind of what this deck's wanting to do. Now, my opponent, of course, has just hit like 4 cantrips in a row. Probe, Brainstorm, Ponder, Thought Scour, Mental. 5. My opponent has just hit 5 cantrips in a row. So it is kind of hard to beat that with a Monastery Mentor in play. I don't think they could have drawn it up better, honestly, if they stacked their deck any better into an Intuition. I'm just gonna let them do their thing here. They can. Why are they not stacking this correctly? Why are they stacking this poorly? Doesn't matter. Yeah. I'm just gonna let them have their fun here. But they have really drawn it well in the last hand here. I don't know if there was that much more I could have done to actually win here. It's hard to say. I think maybe my opening hand wasn't aggressive enough. I couldn't land creatures early to really get the pressure on them, so they could just land their planeswalkers and do the damage. Yeah, it's interesting. I thought I'd be better set up against this deck, but really the 3-mana walkers were the problem here. I think I need a little more planeswalker removal specifically, and you'd think that that's what my deck does as a tempo based deck. You get creatures on the field and you do something about them. I guess maybe I should have mulliganed my hand, seeing as how there were no creatures in it. Were there no creatures in it? Oh no, there was an Oko in it. Maybe the Oko. Maybe I should have played the Oko around the Red Blast. I'm not gonna block here. I'm just gonna let him take it. Maybe I should have played the Oko around the Red Blast, held up the days or something. But it's certainly a consideration. Anyway, that was a ton of fun. I enjoyed the game. Opponent had a sweet deck. I'm pretty sure this was one of the winning decks from the last tournament. Super sweet. We'll probably face it again later in the tournament. So it's very combo. Underworld Breach's combo is very it's meta at the moment. It's very strong here. So maybe I'll play it again next one. I still have one more match for this week. I'm thinking of playing it. I think I play it in a couple of days, so I will give you the rundown and the games for those later. See you there.